Now, the Game Awards are among us, and one of the games that is a contender for Game of the Year is Elden Ring. And actually, we can have a little look about Elden Ring and how its success hasn't actually tainted the way the developer is looking to go forward with it. So Hidetaka Miyazaki says he's trying to not get distracted by Elden Ring's success, reacting to the wins in an interview with Famitsu. He said he was especially honoured by the User's Choice Award due to the fact it's chosen by players. But he went on to say that he doesn't feel From Software's status has changed due to Elden Ring's success, and that it simply continues to make the game he wants to create. Now, however, he says that obviously he's earned a great reputation here. I mean, 17 million copies of Elden Ring will back them up in the future, he says, and for when they do new games and all that kind of stuff. But 17 million copies is absolutely incredible. I'm now just on the show with our producer here at Jinx, Matt Simpson.
Hi.
How are you? You good?
Yeah, I know, it's Elden Ring, I'm back.
Oh yes, you were keen. You were keen.
Well, if it ever comes up, it's just like, yeah, I'm doing it, that's fine. I can talk about this.
Your bag, it's your bag.
Well, it's better than having to host the darn thing, because you go away and wander off.
That's
so,
it,
yeah, I had to fill in for you. It's all right.
Love it. And you're wearing a nice Christmassy jumper for us today as well. Look at you.
Yeah, I got the memo that we were all wearing Christmas jumpers and no one else has turned up in one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just feel like an idiot now.
Look, at least you'll stay warm throughout the day, Matt.
Yeah, it's very cold at the moment, so I definitely will.
So it's kind of nice to see that they're not looking with Elden Ring, it's not kind of tainting their view on, yeah, we've got a really successful game, we can stop there. They're looking to kind of go forward. So is that something you thought they'd do anyway?
Well, From Software have always had this thing where they just do what they do and like no one touches it. So you can imagine Elden Ring, if there was other publishers, other companies, they would have taken all the stuff you can get in the game and tried to monetize all of it.
Yeah.
So all the different like outfits, all the weapons, some of the areas, some of the characters. They try, games are becoming so much more about monetizing every aspect of it you can.
Yeah.
But From Software are completely antithetical to that. They everything is just in the game.
Yeah.
You can find it, you can get it, or you have to beat a boss, or you have to complete a quest to get some items. But it's there for you to get. There's no tainting with free-to-play, microtransactions, all this kind of stuff. And I think the other side of it is the fact that the games are incredibly challenging, and I think a lot of games will try and be more accessible because they want you to see everything.
Yeah.
But with this, they very much went, okay, no, this is this is how we want to make it. We don't really mind if you don't see certain things because we want you to come back and play again.
Yeah.
So you can then find it, find new things, what your friends might have found that you didn't, or weapons, or even boss fights. There's one boss fight really late in the game that is incredibly difficult to find. It was the only one I missed in my first playthrough, and then I went back and I was like, there's no way I would have found this anyway. Like, I don't know how on earth people did, pure dumb luck, I guess, is how you stumble into something.
Into stuff on that game, absolutely.
But that I think that was the rewarding aspect that has always been, like, even from as far back as Demon's Souls, even as Kingsfield, From Software have always had this element where they don't really care if you don't see stuff.
Yeah.
And I think any other publisher, any other developer, they would have been very afraid of that for happening to you.
Do you think there's room for developing onto Elden Ring? Do you think there's going to be more that's going to come from Elden Ring? Do you think it's not quite finished just there yet?
Well, I think the game as itself is pretty excellently complete. I mean, there are obvious things in the game that you sort of think, well, DLC is almost certainly going to happen.
Yeah.
Because that's another aspect of it is there's no battle pass, or there's no, like, all their downloadable extra content is all expansions basically. So it takes the original game and then puts you in a new area, or maybe adds some new quests in. Or I know there's a lot of excitement about PvP because Elden Ring PvP was a bit wobbly. And they've got these 3 big coliseums on the map that are completely unused but are enormous. And you go, well, why are these here? Must be some sort of PvP thing. So I genuinely think that's probably what they're going to do next in terms of what Elden Ring is going to happen. But as I say, it's just great that Hidetaka Miyazaki and the whole team, they essentially just have carte blanche to do whatever they want, obviously within reason, but just to be like, right, this is the game we want to make, and no one can tell them not to because they've got such a reputation now, and it's commercially successful.
Yeah, and they've stuck with it as well, which I think is great. I mean, like I think we were discussing earlier, they've never kind of tainted away from how a game should go. It's always their vision, always what they want to do with it, and I think that's something that's really special, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's ultimately a case of they've been honing their craft for years.
Yeah.
Like, this Elden Ring is not just a surprise, oh, this little developer's come out and made something interesting. It's it's literally like they've been doing the same game or iterating on the same idea with Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro, and they've all kind of culminated in this absolute monolith. Don't know.
A big thing.
A really big thing that brings lots of things together into a really nice big thing. And there's a lot of. It's good that they've been allowed to work and get better at it and make mistakes. Like everyone will talk about how bad Dark Souls 2 was, or even the original Dark Souls. I know it's an absolute sort of phenomenon, but it was a flawed masterpiece. There were plenty of issues with it, and they've been able to get better and gradually learn and then bring out this. And I think ultimately that's where they need to stand. Is right. This is what we're good at. Let us do this, and we will make you 17 million copies. Try and think about 17 million of anything in your head. It's impossible, right?
I mean, it'd fill this studio completely. It's crazy.
It would fill this building completely. It's remarkable, considering that it's not a Call of Duty or a FIFA.
Yeah.
It was marketed fairly well. I mean, the George R.R. Martin thing really helped.
Oh, yeah,
because people go, oh, the Game of Thrones guys made a game.
Yeah.
Not really, but he sort of wrote bits of it, and
the characters and
the characters and some of the world and the big tree. That's all his idea, right?
Yeah.
But genuinely, it's mostly the guys who made that weird, really difficult game that everyone's scared of.
Yeah.
And they've gone and done this, and it's just remarkable.
Obviously, I think I can know your answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Game of the year, Elden Ring, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a revolutionary moment in the industry, because I think what we'll see now is much in the same way as when Breath of the Wild came out in 2017. I want to say you started to get a lot of games that were trying to ape Breath of the Wild's success.
Yeah.
With the kind of the open exploration and the climbing anywhere and doing anything in any order, kind of going back to what open world games should always have been.
Absolutely.
And Elden Ring definitely takes elements of that, but I think it does so many interesting things in and amongst that idea. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years, hopefully, developers and publishers learn the right lessons from this and don't just go, oh, it's really hard, let's make hard games.
Yeah.
Which is what they learned from Dark Souls, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, there you go. And they're going to, well, look, hopefully we're going to find out about the Game Awards later this week, because on Thursday, the Game Awards are here and we are going to get the answer to this question. Is it God of War Ragnarok? Is it going to be Elden Ring? Who knows, but I think we kind of do know at the same time. But actually, it's going to be significantly shorter this year due to quite a lot of feedback from viewers from last year. So they also claimed that there are going to be fewer big games as part of the show as well, and also fewer games that are just going to be kind of lit throughout the ceremony. Now, one title that won't be at the show is the new game from Mortal Kombat developer NetherRealm. And that's told fans Friday not to expect any news from that studio, because you ain't going to get any of that. But Tekken 8 has been confirmed to feature in the show, and the long-rumoured Crash Bandicoot Wumpa League, which we're ready to hear about, could also be announced. I think it will be, but we don't know. Matt, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the last show was too long.
Yeah.
There was loads of good announcements in it, but yeah, they do need to streamline it, so I'm very interested to see what gets announced. We just talked about Elden Ring. I think there's going to be either Sekiro 2 or Elden Ring DLC will probably be announced.
Ooh, interesting.
Because they are good friends with the guys there. I think ultimately it's not a bad idea. So let's see. Jeff Keighley is just a master at this kind of thing, and if anyone knows how to do this, it's him. So.
Absolutely. And are you aware that Steam Decks are going to be given out throughout the stream?
I heard about this news on Friday. I was looking into how we can get involved, and because I'd love a Steam Deck if I could get one. Yeah. We need to all be watching the stream on Friday.
That's it.
It's Friday, isn't it?
Friday it's
night.
on Thursday.
Thursday,
yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, watch this space, and maybe you can get yourself a Steam Deck as well. Matt will be watching, so you can compete with Matt for a Steam Deck. Also, Hideo Kojima has teased new details about an unreleased game. So in a cryptic post he put up on Twitter, developers love a cryptic post, don't they? So Kojima has actually written that "start a new journey" as the caption to this tweet. And as you can see here, there's 3 symbols, which apparently the centerpiece does resemble Fragile's logo in Death Stranding, and one keen-eyed Twitter user, I should say, speculated that the game could be ocean-sea related, and which could relate to Compass Bridge and the Sea Monster. So Matt, what do you think to this little cryptic tweet here?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what Hideo's playing at.
Yeah.
Him and Jeff are bezies. They've always so many photos of them hanging out,
chilling.
Having ramen or going to an American bar. Death Stranding was an odd duck. I really enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people bounced off it. But I really enjoyed it. I'd be interested to see if they are going to go for a sequel. I'm not quite sure how it did commercially and whether that's worth them doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, Kojima is another one of these developers who he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll wait and see whether or not it's something, because I have heard there's something new. I know Elle Fanning's going to be in the new whatever this is.
Yeah.
I don't know whether she's an additional character or there's going to be a whole new thing.
Yeah.
I guess we'll wait and see, but I guarantee we'll hear about something on Thursday.
Yeah, so it's going to be exciting, I think. But I mean, like, what do you think to these sort of like cryptic tweets? Do you think do they actually make you like want to like speculate, or are they just kind of like sometimes you're like, oh, it's just annoying, just tell me what you're working on?
Good question. I don't really mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as if I get really excited because I see it, because ultimately you sort of know what's coming in advance anyway. And if you do, like, genuinely, I think ultimately I would rather just not know anything.
Yeah.
And then be surprised to go, oh,
okay,
that's
didn't
cool.
think that was coming, yeah.
However, this, again, Hideo's always played this kind of game. So, as I'm concerned, like, yeah, he can do all this. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's 3 symbols on a thing.
Yeah.
Like, he does this all the time with, like, oh, just a random picture and this, and that, and the other. You know, look who I'm working with this time. So I think, look, we'll see. As I said, I'm interested to see anything he does, because I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. Anything he does, I'm curious to find out, and the Game Awards is almost certainly where it'll be.
Absolutely, and I think we're getting a lot of nice announcements. I mean, with the Game Awards coming on Thursday, I think we're going to get a nice load of announcements, because we know there's some good games coming out in 2023, but I'm sure there's more to kind of like tickle our fancy that we don't know about right now. So it's going to be quite an exciting year, I think.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, Matt, thank you once again for joining me on the show. The
Pleasure.
Elden Ring man is here. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point, and hopefully it takes a win on Thursday. Fingers crossed, eh? Fingers crossed.